Testing 1 2 3. Testing. I think we're able to get a ladder, right? Test. This is really important. This is historic. We have never done something like this before. Do you see where we're at right now? In front of the White House. We gotta remain united. This is what happens when we work together. Welcome everybody who's in person. Welcome everybody who's online. The goal is spreading awareness to the general public, to the media, to the government. They need to know about this stuff. We are not here to spread hate. So some of you may have seen what happened in India, the attack on the convention. Yeah, we don't do that. We are not about that at all. We're here for unity and peace for everybody.
My name is Will Chandler, and I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I am honored to be speaking in front of you. Our story is about the power of love. Being raised a witness, I am a survivor of just about every type of abuse you can think of, to include shunning and being trafficked by my Jehovah's Witness stepfather. I have been dealing with shunning since I was 16 years old when I left the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. I am one among millions that knows this pain. No one, in particular a child, should have to live with this burden. Look at us, look around. Some of us here dare not show their faces. And why is that? They do not want to have intimate knowledge of the pain that some of us have known since childhood. I don't want to be standing here. I don't want to give voice to what has to be said. None of us do. But if not me, if not us, then who?
According to the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights, everyone has the right to choose and change their religion. Yet, even as we celebrate this lofty principle, many among us here today and worldwide remain tethered by invisible chains. Sorry, I'm very nervous. Barriers built by the very communities for which we once belonged. Nelson Mandela once said, "To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." This profound insight guides us as we navigate the complexities of faith, belief, and individual freedoms. Religions, in their essence, are pathways to understanding our place in the cosmos, to deriving purpose, to seeking solace. However, while many core religious teachings promote love, peace, and unity, there are mechanisms within some religious communities that use fear and isolation as an iron grip. One such mechanism is shunning. At its core, shunning is a systematic act of social rejection, a deliberate prison for those who diverge from accepted norms or beliefs. Sure, on paper, they say that you can change religious beliefs, but the reality, as most of us know here today, is often starkly different. Even when a religion has not officially announced our disobedience, somehow the congregation knows when to shadow ban you. The pain of shunning is profound. Imagine for a moment being treated as invisible by those you love, simply because you chose to listen to your conscience. Imagine the solitude of knowing that asking questions can cost you your community. For many of us here, leaving our faith or even expressing doubts result in being isolated from our families, friends, and communities, being treated as though we have become non-persons. This psychological and emotional severance can lead to mental health challenges, including severe depression, anxiety, and tragically, in some cases, even suicide. This is not freedom. It is a prison of conformity, where walls are constructed not of bricks, but of silence. John F. Kennedy once remarked, "The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened." The question then arises, how do we move forward? Enforcing freedom of religion means actively promoting a culture of acceptance, understanding, and dialogue. It means challenging harmful practices, even if they are cloaked in religious traditions. It is imperative for nations and communities to recognize the harm caused by such practices. As we advocate for change, let's remember this. True strength of faith is measured by how many it can retain through love, not fear. True religious freedom will come from hearts that understand, accept, and love without condition. Let's aspire to build a world where no one feels chained by their beliefs, where the freedom to question is as sacred as the freedom to believe.
You just proved that a sister doesn't need a household. Good job.
Or maybe something on my head.
Yes.
Mind if I tell them who you are?
No, okay.
All right. So just so you guys know who that is, this is the niece of everybody's favorite governing body member, Stephen Lett. Yeah. So just so you know who we got here to support us.
Go to the elders immediately. I didn't know going to the police was an option. The elders questioned me. I sat in a tiny room. I remember being probed with questions about every detail for them to tell me that there were no witnesses and that it was my word against his. So I believed it was in Jehovah's hands, and that's what I was told to do. I am now the person that I always needed as a child. And while I can't change the past, I can be that voice for those kids that don't have anyone. Their own parents aren't protecting them. They don't even know that they have a voice. So we are that voice. We're here for the kids that are being baptized at young ages that don't know anything about the world. They don't know anything about religion. They don't know who they are because their identity is in a cult. So let's be the voice for the children. Let's speak out. Let's share our stories. It's painful and it's hard to do, but it's gonna help people. And they're gonna know they can speak up about what's happening to them and they can get out.
Mandatory reporting for all 50 states. Mandatory reporting for all 50 states. And Canada. Protect the children, not your reputation. Protect the children, not your reputation.
One of my cousins came back from work, got into his room, and found out his roommate sexually abusing his 5-year-old daughter. This abuser is cousin of both of us. So my cousins are Jehovah's Witnesses. So I know how painful it is. But before I personally experienced shunning, I did it to my sister. She was barely 18. And at this young age, she lost all her closest family relationships. All she did wrong was form a family with a non-Jehovah's Witness. Los que hablan español. En el 2003, mi primo regresó a su casa del trabajo y encontró a su compañero de cuarto abusando sexualmente de su hija de 5 años.
People are being blackmailed out of those rights. They have lost their right to vote. They have lost their right to leave an abusive relationship. They have lost their right to seek justice. They have lost their right to change their religion. Because exercising those rights means they risk losing everybody that they care about, their entire community. Many stories where someone gets disfellowshipped and they are asked to move out immediately.
All religions must respect human rights.
Well, hello everyone, and I thank you all for coming down. justly thanks you. And this is a good turnout. This looks like it may be the largest protest in the history of the Watchtower for ex-witnesses. Watchtower are no longer wrapped around you. And I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to be. I've had 50 relatives, nieces, nephews, daughters, grandchildren that had nothing to do with me because I wanted to leave the Watchtower and I wanted to speak out against it. And no doubt the practice of the Watchtower caused a lot of people to have a lot of problems. I do a radio program every Saturday night. I've been doing it for 18 years. I've never missed a Saturday night. We are there because people come in and they call in from all over the world and they voice their thoughts. Many of them are PMOs. We all know that many of the pleasures of life have been taken away from us when we were Jehovah's Witnesses. Many things we couldn't do. We couldn't get a career. Remember they used to say if you get a really good job or you want to move up in the school, they have given up a lot of things in their life. And the Watchtower put pressure on all of us. We could not do things that normal people could do. We're all finding freedom now. We all have freedom. Look at us, we're free. We're here. Isn't it nice to be free? And we're all here. We could never do anything like this at Watchtower. Some witnesses would feel that even coming and standing in front of the White House would be like an act of going against the witnesses. It would be nationalism. I mean, they've never had a good word to say about anybody but themselves.
He's my go-to. I just want to reiterate why we're here.
Wow.
No, really. No, he called my dad. And was like,
When you look around
as soon as my
at these
video
signs,
Oh,
be
wow.
free, silent no more.
As Jehovah's Witnesses gaslights all of its 8 million plus members around the world. So this is not just an issue that we're dealing with here in the United States. This is a world issue. This is a human rights issue. This is something that needs to be looked into by everybody who has the authority to make decisions on behalf of mankind. There's no words I could probably use to quantify the mental anguish that one goes through every day, while you're in the shower, while you're brushing your teeth, before you go to bed, while you're cooking in front of your stove, while you're loading your dishwasher, while you're putting clothes in the dryer. It's almost non-stop. The barrage of thoughts, of guilt, of questioning. Our whole minds and lives have been controlled by this organization, only to find out what? You don't have to report field service time and anybody can just exhale on their last breath and make it? I should have been in the Olympics then. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff I could have did. I could have been like the next Beyonce. But I didn't do any of those things. I actually just devoted my time, my life, and my everything, right? Your whole... I know the scripture. You give it all because you're thinking you're actually doing the greatest good, only to find out that you actually were handicapping and crippling and disabling yourself. And you were also doing a huge disservice to all of your fellow humans by being so close-minded and judgmental. So now that we are here to join in solidarity for those that are with us, those who couldn't make us, those who are in different zip codes, area codes, and time zones, let's really make this count. The next time we get to do this, let's keep doing this because everyone out there needs to know what's happening. And I'm gonna need y'all to start taking them tax dollars back from the Watchtower. They're not serving their community. They're not doing food drives. They're not paying people's bills. There's no utility vouchers. They're not doing tutoring. National deficit is due to the Watchtower. Come on, let's go find that money. They got property, they got assets. Come on, seize their stuff. Y'all ready? Let's go. Shunning is inhumane!
I am a born-in, third-generation ex-Jehovah's Witness baptized at 15. I had a huge awakening from the indoctrination of Watchtower. To be an obedient and true Jehovah's Witness, you have to be willing and ready to sacrifice your life or your child's life when faced with needing a life-saving blood transfusion. I was put asleep for an emergency C-section. When I awoke, my doctor told me there was no if, ands, or but about it. We had to give my daughter an emergency blood transfusion to survive. I couldn't fathom how anyone could allow their child to die refusing life-saving medical treatment that God had allowed man to be able to perform. I found out about all the corruption and lies.
Serve your souls alive. Blood saves lives.
This was a real cover that the Watchtower put out in Awake. May 22nd, 1994. Real pictures of kids that lost their lives due to refusing blood. Can you imagine putting kids who lost their lives on the cover of a magazine in order to help encourage other kids to also give up their lives.
I would cringe when I heard that word apostate, but now, no, I'm reclaiming that word, and I'm proud to be here. I was born in, but basically even as a kid, I was PMO, and I definitely was as a teenager. So, like many of you, I'm a truth seeker, and the truth that I'm here to talk about today is about the shunning. And I witnessed that firsthand. When I was 10 years old, my father, who was an elder, was disfellowshipped by a corrupt elder body. He had discovered that they were doing some funny business with the congregation donation money. And he confronted them about it, and he was angry. And they didn't like it. And he was going to report them, so they disfellowshipped him. He was devastated. He had pioneered for years and years, full time, prior to my being born, prior to him getting married. And I saw the mental anguish, and it really affected me as a child. It took him 3 years to get reinstated. He was never the same person after that. Cult experts will tell us that every single cult shuns. Bar none. They do it. They do it as a means of control, to control their members and to control the people around their members, their families. You're still controlled by that shunning even when you're out. Right. It's known to create mental breakdowns as well as the mental anguish, and yes, even kills. Shunning kills. Today, we call on the Watchtower Society to immediately stop their shunning practices.
Yes.
Respect human rights. Say it with me.
Respect human rights.
But this really hit home for me. It was September 11th of last year, and I was going through a very, very difficult time, probably one of the most difficult times I've ever gone through throughout my life. And I just reached out to one of my siblings just to let them know what I was going through. I didn't ask for help. I wasn't asking for them to listen. I just wanted them to be aware of the difficulties I was going through. Well, the message I got back from this sibling was this: as much as I or we love you, we want nothing to do with you until you come back to Jehovah. Yep. And you know what? It was at that time I recognized that, boy, I could actually be dying in a ditch, and they wouldn't help. And that was a strong realization of the damage that this policy does. But it's not hyperbole. Many of us have gone through this, and even worse. It's interesting that when you actually talk to people about it, it's totally preposterous. They don't believe it. But I'm going to give the definition directly from the Watchtower, because isn't it true that you evil apostates, you twist their words, you flip them around, you do your own definition so that they look good. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull out my notes. I'm going to read to you exactly what the shunning policy is. So now I got to take my glasses off in order to see. Guided by Holy Spirit. Okay, here it is right here. From Jehovah's Witnesses publication, How to Remain in God's Love, published in 2017, page 241. It says this, and I quote, "Disfellowshipping," and again, keep in mind that this also applies to those who have voluntarily disassociated themselves. Disfellowshipping is applicable to a member who voluntarily leaves or disassociates. When someone who has seriously sinned and does not repent and refuses to follow Jehovah's standards, he can no longer be a member of the congregation. He needs to be disfellowshipped. When someone is disfellowshipped, we have no more dealings with that person, and we stop talking to him. And then they give a biblical record from 3 John where it says, "If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your home or say a greeting to him." And this is unquote. This is again Jehovah's Witnesses' definition of shunning. And they'll say, oh, this is a loving provision. Masterminds of gaslighting. And just say this with me: shunning violates human rights. Come on. Shunning violates human rights. Shunning violates human rights. Thank you all so much.
What I did was I did some investigation, and what really bothers me is that I have almost 100 men that were elders, ministerial servants, that committed these crimes and not reported, and then left in these congregations to commit more. Some of these guys have more than 8 victims. It's multiple victims. But when I got into this and I saw what the governing body, that's when they were in Brooklyn, right? That Greenless, this right here. He was molesting a 10-year-old. This guy here, he says Chitty, I call him Shitty, but I mean, this is governing body members. Loach was approached and said, hey, did nothing. Jarrah, same way, and so does this guy here, Barr. But what I want to tell you is that, real quick though, my whole thing is we need to pass laws. First of all, like we be a mandated state to report. That should be no question. And then what we need that database. We don't want the database of people who are investigated for stealing a bag of chips. What we want is the ones that confessed to pedophilia. Those are the ones we want, because we don't have that. The congregants don't know. And what happens is these guys are still roaming around. I got 2 beautiful grandkids that just, one's 2 and my baby girl just born. They're gonna be sitting in these halls. And there, you don't know who in there is a confessed pedophile. This doesn't make sense to me. And this is supposed to be a loving organization. And then you got this clown that comes up and says, we don't have a problem. You know what I mean? This is sad, man. And just like they are, they're wolves in sheep clothing.
What we're seeking to do is to unite all of the XJWs around the world.
The true help that anyone's going to find is by helping each other. It really is. And you're doing it here, and we see individuals doing it with each other. You need to continue that. You really do. And everything and anything that you're speaking out with now, you have to speak out where you are. It's the only way that's going to work.
We came in, we were Catholic, we were looking for the true religion, we were looking for somebody that was teaching the Bible so that we could bring our 4 children up. I was pregnant for the youngest. Our oldest was less than 5. Right now they're 43, they're 40, they're 38, 41, and now they are shunning us. But we have so many adopted children all around that feel that we are their mother and father, because we will not shun you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Selena Vertolomo. You might know me from a really awkward video where I went looking for Toni Morris. I found him. I wanted to come out today to show support because the effects that this organization has had on our families and on our children have been devastating. So I'm hoping that more CSA survivors feel more comfortable coming out to talk about it. It is like the most humiliating and embarrassing thing you could possibly have to talk about. And I just want everybody to know that it's not your shame to carry, it's theirs. And the more that you open that up and you let go of that shame, the more the crimes are able to be seen by the general public and the more progress we can make.
Yeah, let's not keep quiet about this stuff. We have to keep letting our voices be heard.